And Humpy has a very solid style. So how will Nodirbek play to unsettle that? And there we go.
Oh, one of my favorite openings, the Jobava London system. And this is something I specialize in from the white side. It's quite a rare opening. You avoid the Queen's Gambit, but you just bring your piece out in a sensible way. And I think this is a nice way to play against Humpy, because Humpy has a real chess history understanding of the classic games, but this is a new opening. You rarely get a new opening nowadays, and this is a modern opening that maybe Humpy doesn't know so well, and this is a key position here. Humpy's got to be very careful. If she plays her pawn 2 squares up in what you would do in the Queen's Gambit, it's actually a bit of a mistake, I feel. So what's she going to go for? And this move is very risky as well, actually.
It does. It is risky. I mean, I've seen many games where white has actually just abandoned like development, instead just focused on pushing those pawns on the right up the board. And now we're expecting the pawn to capture. I mean, you can still grab space there on the right side.
Yeah, so white now has on purpose doubled his pawns in the center, and you might think, why has white done that? Why didn't white take the queen? Well, actually, having this pawn mass that white has in the center is quite a positive thing, because they control the key central squares. The last move is threatening to win a pawn as well, so Nodirbek has a little bit of pressure with the white pieces here. That queen trying to come forwards and grab a pawn, so yes, black has to defend that. You don't really want to play this move. It weakens other squares, but it's still fairly solid for Humpy at the moment. If she can keep a solid position, she keeps her chances alive.
Yeah, and that is definitely the name of the game here when you're playing with the black pieces against someone as talented as Nodirbek. So I'm expecting that Humpy has prepared the dark square bishop to come and challenge its counterpart, and then she can just focus on completing her development. But how is Nodirbek going to handle this? And he flicks in a little bit of an unpleasant check for Humpy to deal with.
Very interesting move there, and that just shows Nodirbek's talent, I think, to play a move like that, because this move is very irregular, and it's the idea to come in with the queen, and this is what we call a Karpovian idea. White has spotted a weak square, and white is trying to control that weak square with his pieces. So very positional idea. If we check out the heart rates, Nodirbek seems to be very calm here, hasn't gone over 100. Humpy a little bit high on 135. And if I was black here, I'd really want to get rid of that queen and also get my king castled. So black now, I think, trying to exchange queens off quite soon.
Yeah, but she has the problem of how can she defend that backward pawn there on c7. It's not going to be easy, so I'm expecting Humpy to perhaps challenge and chase away this dark square bishop by moving the knight to the edge of the board. But no, Humpy decides development is key and instead focuses on getting her king to safety. And yeah, I mean, looking at the heart rate, it does appear like Humpy is nervous.
Yeah, it's just a bit of an uncomfortable position for black. This queen check that Nodirbek played was a brilliant positional idea, and there's going to be a lot of pressure now on that file. That's the lines that go up where the queen is. You can see white has now introduced a rook to that file as well. I think black has to retreat the knight and try to kick the queen away, but that's only a temporary thing here. Certainly slightly better for white, this position.
Yeah, I mean, she has to do something right now. Otherwise, Nodirbek is simply going to move that knight out of the way of his own rook, and there's going to be too much pressure on that pawn. And Humpy, well, she offers a trade of queens, but I feel that this is not quite sufficient because Nodirbek is not necessarily obliged to capture the queen. Instead, he can move the knight, and it will be a rook that finds itself on that annoying square.
Look at that open file, and as Jovanka just mentioned, the rook now takes over, attacking a pawn which black needs to defend. White can now increase the pressure against that pawn, which black will need to defend again. So everything is piled up, and black is in a bit of a bind here, binded down, and the heart rate of Humpy's is showing that black can't really move much. White's rook's beautifully placed on that open line. Can Nodirbek increase the pressure now? He can try moving his pawns, maybe even introduce another piece into the game. Maybe the knight can come into the center here. But I don't know how black gets out of this bind. because it's really hard to move any pieces as black here.
If you move any of the pieces apart from the bishop, you're going to lose material. So it's absolutely difficult, and that's why we see Nodirbek get very greedy and just grab the space. And Humpy, well, she's just playing with the king, and look at that.
Very nice play from Nodirbek, and with the last move, at least black has some ideas and now moving the knight to try and chase the rook away. I think this is the idea that Humpy's trying to get in on the board. Nodirbek is just waiting and seeing and improving on the other side of the board. So here's that move, kicking the rook away. That rook was so annoying, so the rook retreats, but white still keeps the pressure in the position.
And nice move there by Humpy, actually pushing that pawn forward, controlling the white circuit, but well, Nodirbek showing why he is one of the world's best, and instead just expands there in the center, and he's going to push again.
He's gaining space with every move. I mean, you must admire Humpy's defensive strategy here, but it's still going to be very tough. The white piece is now coming in to hit new targets, and there is a pawn that is, I think, undefendable here. Okay, Humpy's still defending well.
She found a nice defensive retreat, and well, then we are going to see Nodirbek try a different tack, and he expands there on the right side. Again, this position just looks so cramped for Humpy.
Well, there might be a tactic here of knight takes pawn, and instead we have some exchanges here. Humpy is fighting like a lioness here. More pieces get exchanged. If Humpy can just keep these exchanges up, she might better defend here. But all these open lines for the white rooks are giving Nodirbek an advantage in the position. Humpy fighting with 16 seconds now.
16 seconds, and there's a lot of pressure on those weak points that she's defending, and she's doing a remarkable job of keeping everything together, and Nodirbek just keeps turning the screw.
The bishop coming in with a big check there, and we keep an eye on the live board now as the digital one has a bit of updating, and you can see the black king looks to be in a bit of trouble here, and the clock situation, Nodirbek getting a little bit low on time, but he's creating, oh, look at that, what a threat that is. And the knight now grabbing a pawn. Black's rooks just never have been able to get in the game, Ivanka. They're just dead, aren't they, those black rooks?
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. Nodirbek kept applying pressure until Humpy cracked, and now Nodirbek, his material up. He's down to 25 seconds, though.
He's looking for a killer blow.
He's looking for a killer blow, and he found it.
Yeah, well, he's winning the knight there. Humpy's still fighting. She's defending as well as she can, but she's been under pressure for so long. She's opening up her other rook now. She plays so well when she's got 20 seconds left, Humpy. If she played the whole game with 20 seconds, I think she'd be winning the whole competition. And Nodirbek, though, has a pawn advantage. Is that going to be enough to win? Still only one pawn, but it might well be two pawns. I do like white's bishop as well. Having a piece in the center is so important. And that pawn now trying to get down the board to become a queen. Only 2 squares from away from queening.
Yeah, but Humpy fighting hard, throwing in a check, and then just resourcefully keeping an eye on that passed h-pawn. And Humpy playing so well with just 13 seconds left. And you get the feeling, just by the nature of their play, that it's Nodirbek the one who is panicking on the clock.
Wow,
oh, nice!
tactic.
Nice trick from Humpy. Humpy showing us.
Fighting back.
She's playing so resourcefully. Is it going to be enough?
Well, she can go check. Humpy is a master at the ending, using that experience. Can she defend this ending? She is still a pawn down, but she has some drawing chances here. The problem, I think, is that white's king is so active in this position, but she's defended so well. 8 seconds for Nodirbek. He grabs a pawn. Can he stop that pawn from queening? The black pawn. Can Humpy win this one?
Well, big threat of checkmate on the board. Kate Humpy has to deal with that. She runs away with the king, but yeah. And Nodirbek throwing in a check. Which way is she going to go? Back to the center. Oh, it's dangerous there. And now checkmate threatens again. And
oh, it's so close. I think Humpy can draw this position if she has it, but she just doesn't have much time. She's got to be careful where she moves her king. She moves at the right place. Maybe she can't anymore. The white pawn is coming through quicker, and Nodirbek wins there just at the end there, because the draw is not good enough. She must create chances. She plays her normal move there, the queen's pawn, and this is the queen's gambit again. Very popular opening. We're seeing this a lot in this tournament, but the Tarrasch variation of the queen's gambit, named after Tarrasch, surprisingly enough, and this has quite a drawish reputation, but I don't think Humpy will be too upset with this, because she likes these kind of structures, these kind of positions as well.
Definitely. She's just simply developing her pieces, and her plan is, once the king is castled, she will capture that pawn in the middle and try and say that black has a long-term strategic weakness. And what do we see her play? She develops her dark squared bishop.
And she's playing a lot quicker in this game. She clearly knows the opening here, and what both players need to do at the start is just get their knights and bishops out. They're doing that at the moment. Things will heat up. White is considered to have better pawn positioning in this opening, but black's pieces are considered to be more active, and Nodirbek, he loves his activity with his pieces, and I expect that's why he's gone for this particular opening. He plays so well with active pieces, one of the best in the world.
He has a really universal style. I mean, there's big similarities between his style and actually that of Magnus Carlsen's. And, well, decision time for Humpy. Does she jump forward with the knight in the middle of the board? Does she reinforce the protection of that knight and simply just develop her knight? I suspect she might be going for that option. Or does she... Okay, she takes a pawn in the middle. I like this choice. And now I'm expecting her just simply to develop another piece.
Yeah, the black's pawn in the middle gives black space, but it's also a bit weak, because the black pawn in the middle doesn't have any other pawns that can defend it at all. Heart rate wise, you can see Nodirbek, he does a lot of exercise. Maybe this is showing in his low heart rate there. Humpy, heart rate obviously a bit nervous here. She's got to win. Even if she loses, though, she will get another chance in this competition. She's got to come up with a plan, though. She doesn't seem to have a natural move here, which is a bit worrying. We're into the middle part of the game, and she should kind of know where her pieces need to develop.
Right, she needs to develop her knight, and she does choose a location, and Nodirbek, playing so quickly, just puts his rook on an open line, and so does Humpy. Two can play that game. And threat on the board, right?
Yeah, white is threatening to move the knight in front of the rook, release the rook against black's bishop, and that means Nodirbek has to do something with that bishop, maybe move the bishop away or defend it with a queen, and he's using a bit of time now to decide the right way to go. So he does move the bishop backwards, and now white is trying to get that bishop. It is said if you can win the bishops, you get the advantage of two bishops, and she can now take that bishop if she wants to, but she will have a bit of problems defending a pawn after that. The valuation bar is actually saying she has a very nice position here, so if she can find the right moves, maybe you could even go bishop takes knight. If you go bishop takes knight and take the pawn in center, you've got to be brave. You've got to play something with a bit of risk. And she plays a very calm move, which is also not a bad move.
I really like this move, because it asks some questions to that bishop. Is it going to retreat? Is it going to trade itself for the knight? Unlikely. Or is it going to support that pawn in the middle? In which case, Nodirbek will be on the defensive. But one thing that is very worrying is that Humpy Koneru has less than 1 minute on the clock, whereas Nodirbek has, well, feels like all the time in the world, just 2 minutes.
But he doesn't seem very happy with his position, and I can understand that. I think that Humpy's idea with the rook was a brilliant idea, and she's playing very, very well in this game. She's doing everything on the chessboard correct to give herself good winning chances.
But this decision was very surprising to me. Just to give up the bishop pair in what is an open position. And I love this idea by Humpy. She's just simply gonna push that pawn forward and pile on the pressure on black's lonesome pawn in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I think both captures look pretty good there. White now does have the two bishops. They're striking across the center here, and Nodirbek has to decide what to do, because white is threatening to win the, well, not win, but exchange the other bishop off. And then it'll be 2 bishops versus 0. Just a bit concerned about Humpy's time, but Nodirbek is going short of time as well. We're going to have a very exciting finish here.
Yeah, and there we see Nodirbek centralize the rook, and it's decision time for Humpy. Does she grab that bishop? I would say yes, please. And now Nodirbek's pawn structure is terrible. Also, the 2 knights don't really work that well in open positions, and I love this move. Just moving that rook 1 square forward, getting ready to relocate itself, and there you go. That pawn in the middle of the board is going to get corralled where possible. And Nodirbek just showing us why he is one of the world's best, because that knight is getting ready to find a home on the c3 square. Humpy, just 17 seconds left on the clock. She finds this nifty queen maneuver.
Yeah, if Humpy can win the black pawn in the middle, she's got great chances of winning it, and she's getting ready to move her rook behind the other rook here. So Nodirbek does the right thing, goes as active as possible, and now the black knight flies in, and this move is really unpleasant for Humpy. I think she missed this idea. That is a beautiful black knight. Now look at that. She's shaking her head. She's realized she's blundered under pressure. This is the problem when you get short of time. You can't deal with these tactical moves that come from nowhere as well as you'd like to. And Nodirbek has now 1 point. He's got the 2 rooks. He's looking very comfortable now.
Yeah, and now the rook comes down to the 2nd row. This is the perfect line for a rook to be on, and giving it a check. Nodirbek has everything. He has extra material. He has a passed pawn in the middle of the board. He just has to be careful. And a trade of rooks, and now the queen offers itself up for a trade. Humpy fighting hard, but this is an uphill task.
Yes, that rook is just so good here, and also black's pawn in the center can be quite scary for white if it ever gets moving up the board. And to make matters a little bit worse, there's also the time problem. Humpy has under 10 seconds here. She's got to try something, and she does now get those pawns moving. I think this is a great thing to try. You've got to open up black's king. Try to just attack black's king now. When your position's really bad, you can throw them, and here they come. So she's, you know, still fighting away here.
Yeah, we mustn't write off Humpy there. She's finding ways to keep the game alive, but okay, she's allowed the pawn to step forward 1 more square, and just 8 seconds on the clock.
And it looks now like the queens are coming off, and this is also in Nodirbek's favor because endings are looking very good. And now black breaks the blockade. Humpy resigns.